Hey, science peeps, this is Miss CG back on the airwaves. I'm going to talk to you about our science project. One of my things that I've been doing this spring break is binge watching a really cool show on Hulu. I'm totally freaked out. It is called Paranormal Witness. Really scary. I would not watch it if you get scared easily. I'm on season 3 and I record these from my basement. So if you hear like any voices in the background, let me know. I want to know if my house is haunted. Um, anyway, let's talk about our project. By the way, I want to hear about any of your binge watching projects over this past break. Go ahead and message me because I'm curious to see what you guys are watching on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, wherever you guys watch. Because maybe I'll watch them too. Okay, so let's talk about our astronomy project that we have. The project you'll have the entire week for. This will be a 4th marking period project, and it will count as a test grade. And it's our last thing that we're doing for our astronomy unit. And then the following week, we're going to move on to cells. Okay, so right here is my clip or my link for you to look at this walkthrough whenever you want. Pause me, rewind me, fast forward me, mute me, whatever you want to do. All right, so you have 3 different options to select for this project. Again, due April 17th for a test grade. Okay, so I'm also going to have 2 Google Meets sessions. One on Tuesday, and that's a Zoom session, and then one on Thursday. Oh, I'm sorry. The Tuesday one's going to be a Google Meets, and the Thursday is going to be a Zoom session. I just want to try out both to see which medium we like better, Google Meets or Zoom. And I am for the Zoom session, since there's been some Zoom bombing. I don't know if you've heard about that. People are from the outside or jumping into people's Zoom meetings. I am going to set it so nobody else can enter 5 minutes into the Zoom meeting. So just make sure that you're there within 5 minutes of the start time. Okay, so I'm going to show you what these signups look like. Here is the first link for the first spreadsheet to sign up. So this is for the Tuesday, April 21st meeting. If you click on this spreadsheet right here, it brings you to Tuesday, the 14th. And well, I think I wrote the wrong date, didn't I? So anyway, this is for Tuesday, the 14th. I'm a week ahead of myself. And you are going to write your name. So of the 3 projects that I explained to you today, if you decide to do the research project, that Google Meets session will be from 11:30 to 12, 30-minute session. And you just write your name down over here. Okay, it's editable for you guys. I just gave an example here, James Logan Howlett, if you guys know your Marvel. Then the 12:30 to 1 o'clock session is going to be about the HyperDocs project, if you choose to do that. And then there's a 2 to 2:30 Google Meets if you decide to do the learning video and you have questions for me. You can go ahead and sign your names up in here. And if you want to get to the link, all you have to do is click right here on this link and it takes you right to the meeting. If you guys know your Marvel and DC, you'll appreciate these names here. All right, so that is for the 14th. My bad that I wrote the wrong date. I'm changing it now. So then that means so now if you want to sign up for the Thursday meeting, and you can sign up for both the Tuesday and the Thursday meeting if you still have more questions as you do the project, you just click right here. Takes you right to the 16th, Thursday the 16th meeting, 10 o'clock. Okay, and see, I even have here that I'm going to lock the meeting at 10:05. 10 to 10:30 will be the Zoom meeting. And again, just click that link to go to that one. 12 to 12:30, we're going to have another meeting about HyperDocs if you have more questions, and click that link. And then real fast, I'll run over here. Get that. 2 to 2:30, we'll be doing the learning video. Okay, and that will be the link right there. All right, so let me close that up. So let's talk about the first project. Okay, project option number 1. Yes, you are only choosing one project. You're not doing all 3. So whichever one you feel most comfortable with, that is the one that you're doing. So every where I put the different projects, I again copied the spreadsheets. Okay. So just click on these links. It'll send you right to those spreadsheets for those dates. The spreadsheets are here in all three places. So the three project options are to do a research project. Option number 2 is to do a hyperdoc, or number 3 is to do a 10-minute teaching video. So let's start with the research project. Click right here for the directions. Okay, so it says, let's start out with our little introduction. There is only one Earth, and it's at risk from many dangers, as we know: pollution, overpopulation, disease, extreme weather phenomenon, and asteroids, to name a few. What would happen if Earth were no longer habitable? You have been tasked to work on a plan B to colonize a new home. So you're going to research an alternative home that we can colonize, someplace within our solar system. So using the research that you've done, all this unit, you're going to create a Google Slides presentation on why your planet or moon is the second best place to inhabit in our solar system. So you'll be doing research. You'll be researching two other places in the solar system. It could be any planet, regular planet, a dwarf planet, or any of the moons in our solar system. And you're going to be comparing them to Earth. And that comparison's there so you can see which one is most like Earth, or which one has certain things that we need in order to survive. Like water is a good thing. You should have soil, not just be a gaseous planet, because how are we going to grow food? Or have a place to put down like habitats for ourselves. So those are things to keep in mind. So any dwarf planet, or moon in our solar system. So how are you going to start this? So first, you're going to compare the Earth, like I said, to other places in our solar system. You're going to gather data about those planets or moons, characteristics about them, and you're going to create a data table. Okay, so you're going to develop a chart or data table comparing the below properties to two other places. So you're going to have 3 in all. Okay, so that's 1, 2 other places, and then the Earth, which is a third place. So once you find the information that you need to research, that I'll show you in a second, you will type in all this into a data table, and you're going to insert this into your slides, this data table. So the aim of this data table is, again, to compare the 2 other places to Earth. So now I've actually created a data table for you, and I've actually completed all the Earth information for you. So all you need to do is to research 2 other places in our solar system and fill in the data table. Or you don't have to use mine. You can create your own. So these are the things that you have to research to fill in your, I'm seeing typos in my, there you go, to research for your data table. So A through K. Instead of me reading all of this to you, I'm actually going to take you right to the data table that I've created. You can click on this. I've made it nice and colorful. And if you want to use my data table, that's awesome. What you have to do, though, because this is not something that you can write on, you're going to have to hit File and then make a copy. Okay, and then you can go ahead and start typing in this data table. So this is the information you have to research. The distance from the sun in astronomical units. That was one of our vocab words. So obviously Earth is 1 AU. We compare everything to Earth. If you were Mercury, you would be less than an AU. If you're Venus, you're less than 1 AU. Anything outside of that would be greater than 1 AU. Then you have to look at the distance from the sun in kilometers, okay, and the distance from the sun in miles. So I know kilometers is our metric system. We're more familiar with miles. So I want you to get used to looking at how these 2 numbers compare to each other. How do you find this information before I go on? You would just do Google searches. I literally went and I Google searched how many kilometers from the sun is Earth. Okay. So this number, it says million kilometers. I want you to find it just in regular kilometers. So right down here, if I scroll down a little bit more, it actually tells me right here, how far is the Earth from the sun? So 149 million, okay, so on and so forth, kilometers. And then it told me right in the same clip how many miles. Okay, so literally just do a Google search for that. Let's go back to, oops. Okay. So then you have to find out the period of revolution. So that is another vocab word. So how long it takes for that moon or planet to go around the sun once. So, we're a little more than 365 days, which is why we have a leap year once every 4 days. Period of rotation. So basically, how long is a day? Yeah, I know it's not exactly 24 hours on Earth. That might have surprised you when you see that number there. We're a little bit less than 24 hours. Their circumference of that planet or moon in kilometers and miles. So just put both of those numbers in the same line, kilometers first and miles underneath. The diameter of the Earth in kilometers and miles. If it's a really tiny moon or planet, is it going to be big enough for human colonization? Can you only have a small colony there? Would that more be like um, a moon or planet that you would be like a way station where you stop off, gather some more supplies, and then move on to your next place? So think about that. I also want to know the temperature ranges of that Earth or that planet or moon in degrees Celsius, and degrees Fahrenheit. So the range meaning the coldest it gets to the hottest it gets. So this is the Celsius range. This is the Fahrenheit range on Earth. -114 Fahrenheit to 116 Fahrenheit. I know it can get hotter than 116 in some places, but that's what I found online. It's okay if it's a little off. So how do you get, here's a question, these little, because it took me a while to figure this out, this little degrees Celsius and degrees Fahrenheit symbol here. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hit insert and I'm going to click on, where is it? Special characters. Okay. So now in the search box, I'm going to write Celsius. Okay. So right here, as I start writing, it says degrees Celsius. I'm just going to click on it, and that should, when I close that box, have created, there it is, a degree Celsius. Okay. You could also at that point just copy and paste. Copy this, Control C is to copy. I want another one, Control V is to paste. If I want a degrees Fahrenheit, insert, special characters. Or, let me write degrees. Here we go. So degrees is a little bit better. So I click on my degrees Fahrenheit. It should appear there. Bam. Okay. So let me just delete this because I don't want it to appear on your copy, but that's how you would insert those little symbols. Surface gravity. So Earth is 9.8 meters per second squared. So you're just going to look for what the gravity is in meters per second squared. So now you're asking me again, how do I get that little 2? Because if I do that, it's not going to do it. So you're going to highlight the 2. You're going to click format, and then you are going to, where is it? Paragraph styles. Oh, I saw this just a second ago. Ooh, let's see here. All right, so it's format and then text. And then this is a superscript, right? Because it's high, so super meaning above. So click on that, and it even gives you a little example, x to the second power, and click the little that one. So again, it's format, text, and then superscript to do that. Okay. So a couple little tricks that I just showed you. All right. So the next thing is, what is the composition of the atmosphere? So on Earth, believe it or not, oxygen is not the biggest gas in our atmosphere. So nitrogen is the most common gas, and then is oxygen. We have argon and trace amounts of all of these other things that we breathe in, but our body just uses the oxygen. Okay, so write down, what is that atmosphere like on that planet or moon? If it doesn't have an atmosphere, you're going to see a really big range in your temperatures, by the way. It's going to get super, super cold and super, super hot. The moon is that way. All right, composition of the surface soil. Can we use it to plant? So our soil is 40 to 45% inorganic matter. 5% is organic matter, like living things. 25% of our soil is water. And believe it or not, 25% of our soil is air. And the plants, the roots of our plants need that air. So that's why earthworms are so good, because they make a little tunnels through the soil and get that oxygen through to our plants, to the roots. All right, types of surface features. This goes on to a second page. So we have solid land, We had fresh water and salt water, and you're like, solid land. Yeah, duh. But some planets may not have, they could be mostly gaseous. It could just have a tiny little core. So that wouldn't be really a place that we could colonize. We have mountain ranges, we have trenches in our oceans, tectonic plates, volcanoes, okay, lots of different surface features. If you were to look to Venus, it has land, but it's all volcanoes. It's full of volcanoes. It's so hot there, so much, it's so inhospitable. But volcanoes are constantly erupting on Venus. All right, presence of water in solid, liquid, and or gas form. So you would write yes or no. So yes, we do on Earth. And if so, explain. So we have fresh water and salt water. We have ice, solid. So we have liquid water, solid water, and we have water in our atmosphere. Okay. So you would do the same thing. You would type in your next planet. Maybe it's going to be Maki, Maki, and then you would go ahead and click in the rest of your information that you want to use. Okay. So let's go back to our project details. Look at my email. And so here it says, so after you do that, you are going to create your slides. And I show you the points for all of the slides. So it says, first you'll need a title slide. This includes the title of your project. Make up a cool title for it, a picture related to your project, your first and last name, date, and your period. And that's 10 points, that first slide. Easy 10 points. Okay, so now you're going to have a slide with the above information listed. So you can either create a link for your data table, you can copy and paste the data table into your slides, or you can use a snipping tool. So what I am going to do is I'm going to show you, I'm going to make a slide. Okay, you do a blank slide if you want. Okay, so here's my title, here's my name. Okay, so now I go to my next slide. So how would you get a link for your slide? So let's go back here. Probably should not have closed out those directions. Or let's see here, data table. Okay, so you can literally, okay, you have to make sure that the share setting is available for me. So you would make sure that, so this already says anyone can view in Hamilton with the link. Okay, so make sure that I can view it. So you can literally just come up here, Control C, and then you go to here, and you can write my data table. You're going to highlight it, insert, oops, insert, and here it says link. So the text, it already has my text highlighted, my data table, Control V. Now it creates that hyperlink, okay? And all I have to do is click on that data table, and it brings it, I can click on that and bring it up. That's one thing you can do. The other thing you can do with your data table is, this is the harder way. That's probably one of the easier ways, is to try to copy and paste it. Let's see how that works. How good does that look? Whoops, come on. Click over here, Control V. Oh, you know what? Look at that. It only gives me a link, so you really can't do that. Actually, let me try this again. Edit. Let's see, copy. Let me go back. Oh, look, there you go. Okay, I didn't copy it right. So you can copy and paste that whole thing into here. That's fine too. Control copy. And then the third way I said was you can use your snipping tool. So what I'm going to do is go back to this. Let me unhighlight it all. Now this might be a little harder because this table is so long, but this is actually a good skill for you to learn. I'm going to hit search. I'm going to write snip. Yeah, sure. So then it pops right up, snipping tool. Okay, so you can do new. Okay, and this pops up. So it's all ready to go. You're going to position the pointer above. You can't get everything copied. It only copies what's on the screen in front of you. But you do get this kind of a picture. And then you would do file. Actually, I'm just going to do a Control C, Control copy. Let's go to another slide. And then I would do Control V to paste, but it only literally just copies what's on your screen. So you can always do that, the snipping tool, with something on the internet that you want to put a picture that you want to put in here. If you're having a hard time getting a picture into your slides, you can go ahead and, okay, here's that picture. So here's my snipping tool all the way already here. I'm going to hit new. So I'm having a hard time getting this picture of the Earth in my slide. So I'm just going to click, drag until I have what I want in the screen, release. Okay, here's my Earth picture. I'm going to hit Control C to copy. Let's go back. I'm going to do another, here's a blank one. And then I'm just going to hit Control V and it appears it. Okay. All right, so let's go back to the instructions here. As far as your slides go again, so your data table, that's worth 40 points. So now C, one slide with a picture of your chosen planet or moon. So a picture of, so now that you've done your data table, you're going to look at the Earth and you're going to look at the other two moons or planets that you researched. And that data table is there to help you analyze what's in front of you, to help you see, okay, well, this moon has water, but that one has an atmosphere with oxygen in it, but that one, so you're going to be going back and forth, which one is the best one? And you're going to decide on one. And once you've decided on which one of the two that you've researched is the right one, you are going to name it. So in a slide, you're going to say, okay, I chose Maki Maki. And you have to make a valid argument about why you chose it. What in that data table made you feel that that moon or planet was the best one that we should colonize? And include several sentences using evidence from your data table or other websites too, from both. And I want it in your own words. So I don't want copy pasting. I will take off points. I may not accept it. I might send it back to you and say, you have to put this in your own words. But it should be in your own words based on your research. And that is worth 30 points. It could be one slide, it could be several slides, whatever you need to complete that. And then finally, 3 scientific resources you use for your research. So what I want you to do is copy and paste the exact website that you got your information. You're not going to write Google. Google's a search engine, okay? But when we did do our search, okay, remember I went here and I found this information for the kilometers and miles. It's from space.com, but there's more to this website. What I want you to do is come up here and click on that, and you're going to do Control C. You're going to go to your slides. Let's enter a new slide, and you can write here sources. Okay, and then you're going to come here and you're going to hit Control V. That way, Control V. Okay, so there's one resource. Okay, maybe you went when you were doing your research and when you were doing your Google search, you found another website. Okay, nasa.com / all these other things after it. So I want you to literally copy and paste the site. You cannot write a search engine as a resource, okay? Because the search engine grabs this information from websites. All right, so those 3 resources will be 10 points. Okay, in order to get full credit, you should have pictures, more than one. Everything should be in your own words, nothing copy pasted, free of grammatical and punctuation errors. Okay, I will take up to 10 points off for these things right in here not being done properly. Okay, so that's your first project if you think you like that one. Let's go over to our second project, a hyperdoc. So a hyperdoc is exactly what you've been using with me for the past couple weeks. You're going to create your own. So click on the directions. Okay, so you're going to create a hyperdoc lesson similar to the ones that you've been using with me. You're going to create a hyperdoc for one lesson in your astronomy book. For example, if you create a lesson for chapter 1, lesson 2, it's all going to be based on chapter 1, lesson 2 information. If you want some more explanation about what a hyperdoc is, I know you've been using it, but maybe you want to read about it, that's fine. This page does take a little while to load. There's a lot of information on it. So a hyperdoc, literally the word hyper is for hyperlink, and doc is for a Google Doc. So you put a bunch of hyperlinks in a Google Doc. So it's not just, they're not slides. It's not just about sites, but it's about using a Google Doc. You insert hyperlinks so that the student, so you're the teacher in this scenario, the student can learn information. This does give you some templates, but I have templates for you on mine as well that I'll show you in a moment. But where I want to take you is all the way, there's lots of information about hyperdocs on here. Feel free to read any of these slides. I want to take you to this last slide down here, this one. Okay, so what is a hyperdoc? So it is, let me go here. Okay, so it contains instructions, links, tasks. It can provide choice. It allows the student to explore, to learn, to apply their knowledge. So that would be with an assignment, for example, which you'll have to do if you choose this project. Okay, so a hyperdoc does all these things. It engages the student. It allows the student to explore new information with your, whoops. Oh, hello. With the learning that you do in the hyperdoc, it allows you to reflect on information. That could be, again, with an assignment, to apply what you learned. So these are all this is the new learning. This is how you apply what you learned, okay, by reflecting, by doing assignments. So it should be colorful. It should have pictures. It should be fun to do, as fun as, doing your homework is to do. So let's go back here. Okay. So I have 4 templates that you can use, or you can make your own. It doesn't matter, but you have to make sure to make a copy. So let's click on the first template. And if you decide to use this one, you would do File and then go and make a copy. Okay. And you can go ahead and change what the title says. You don't even need to have these instructions up here. You can just put your instructions in the boxes, change your pictures. You can use regular still pictures. You can use GIFs that I like to use in mine. Another template that I liked was this one. Okay, so there's already, see how colorful, there's pictures everywhere. You can change the color in these bars here. If you want to make this is more similar to the one I use, you can take one of mine and hit File, make a copy, and use one that's similar to my template. Okay. If you want to see how this is separated into 2, if you want to make this all into one, you would highlight this whole area and you would do, let's see here, edit. Nope. Format. Where is it? I just did it. Oh, Lordy. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to right click. Maybe that's what I'll do. Right click. Yeah, that's it. Right click. And then you would hit merge cells. Okay. And so now all becomes one now. I'm going to go back. Okay. So again, you would highlight this whole thing, right click, and then right down here, merge cells. If you right click and highlight something, you can always insert columns, insert rows. If you mess up, you can always hit Control Z, I believe it was. Okay, let me try this again. So I'm going to insert, merge the cell, and then Control Z to undo. Okay. So now let's go back here. What do you include in your hyperdoc? You're going to first create a 2 to 5 minute video lesson. So you see how I'm doing a video lesson here. I'm not showing my face. You don't have to show your face. You can just do an explanation, explaining the activities you assign, talking about the content. You can use your phone, computer, Screencastify, YouTube, okay, whatever. But I would prefer that you make it unshareable to the public, just for your safety. So if you're doing chapter 1, lesson 4, you can explain why we see different phases of the moon. You can name them in your video. You can have a picture up here showing you, okay, here's the full moon phase, here's the first quarter phase, okay, and talk about how the moon goes around the earth and why we see how the shadow, depending on how the shadow, or I'm sorry, the light of the sun hits the moon, that depends on what we see. And then your video should include visuals, like I just said. And again, 2 to 5 minutes. Screencastify, which is what I use, allows you to do a 5-minute video for free. And I'm sure you guys know other ways too with your phone. And that's worth 25 points, that 2 to 5 minute video lesson. And you're going to include that as a hyperlink, similar to how I do it. Then you're going to have 2 to 3 links of activities to complete. Okay, so if we go back to one of my earlier lessons, okay, right here, here's my hyperlink. Actually, I'm going to go back to an earlier one. Okay, so we'll click on this. So 2 to 3 links of activities. So remember with mine, and you can go ahead and look at any of mine. Here's an activity. I asked you to watch this video and then complete that Google form. We're going to get to the assessment in a second. Here's another activity that you had to do with stellar parallax. I said to look at these. Let's see here. These are videos. Here, the solar system scale. That was an activity that you did to scroll through. So, and then I gave you some other things down here. All right. So let me close some of these windows because I'm just looking at too much. Okay. So 2 to 3 links of activities and or articles. So if you go back here, okay, here's an article here for you to read. So 2 to 3. All these windows. Okay. Include colorful pictures. They could be still or GIFs. Include at least one individual practice activity to complete. So again, going back here, I gave you this video to watch, and this was your Google form to complete. So you can put the activity, make it a Google form. You can make it a Google Doc. Whatever it is, just one is fine. If you want to do more, wonderful, but only one is required. Okay. And that is worth 15 points. So to get full credit, all work should be in color and free of grammatical and punctuation errors. All right, so let's go on to our third and final project. And that would be the 10-minute teaching video. Okay, so let's go to the directions. Okay, so you're going to create a 10-minute teaching video about one of the topics from our workbook. So I'm using chapter 1, lesson 4 as an example again. So this one is about eclipses. So the following elements, that's chapter 1, lesson 4, is all about eclipses. So you can do a teaching video where you can make a model. You can show slides. You make slides and just do the teaching through the slides on a Screencastify. You can take a video of yourself doing an experiment. And the sky's the limit with this. But again, make sure that this is only shareable to me. Okay. So the length of the video is 10 minutes. The video is educational. It's a lesson about something in our astronomy book, something that we learned. Please state your topic and title at the beginning of the video. That's really important because I know some of you gave me feedback about Miss CG. Can you please tell us what page we're on? Because I'm getting a little confused. So make sure that you state what it is that you're teaching about. And that's as long as it follows these rules, you get 25 points for that. And then the video should include this stuff for 50 points. It's you can only if you only want to do a screencast, that's fine, like I've been doing. But again, make sure you have slides or interactive websites that you're using to teach. You can do a video similar to this one. And I know that you guys know this video because we saw it at the beginning of the year. It was with these students. If you remember this one? She explained things in the beginning, and then they went out and did a demonstration.
The principle thing is that the motion of an object can appear
Where that yellow box is.
Did a demo in the car. Okay, this is obviously for our physics unit, so you're not going to be doing that for astronomy. But this is a teaching lesson. This is a teaching video. Theirs was 6.5 minutes, but I want you to do a 10-minute one because you have a whole week for this. Or you can do a combination of screencast and video, whatever it is that you want. Remember to use reputable websites. Okay, so you're not going to be using like Uncle Jim's eclipse website. Okay, you're going to be using like space.com, nasa.gov. And I give you a link here to take a look at some good, reputable science astronomy websites. Okay, you can pick from these. Let's see here. If you screencastify, again, you're only given 5 minutes, so you would have to do 2 of those recordings. I also have this Flipgrid set up, so you would have to sign up for Flipgrid. You would go and click my link. Okay, you can log in with Google. Okay, and it will take you right here to the astronomy video project, and I've set it up so you have 10 minutes of video time. You would hit plus to start your recording. It does show your face, so just be aware of that. Or you can put up like you can show your project here. You can do this on your phone as well, and hold up your visuals. Whatever it is you want to do. Okay, that's up to you. All right. So again, this is just my note to if you just share with me. I have the Flipgrid set up, so only I will see it. And as far as your screencast goes, you can just email me that screencast. You don't have to post it to YouTube. Okay, again, to get full credit, all work should be free of grammatical errors, on topic, and using professional, clean language. Okay. So that is it for our 3 research projects. Remember, if you need help after looking at this, I have the spreadsheets here for each of the projects. Click on it, sign up. And all you have to do is on the day of our video chats, just click on the link in the spreadsheet. So again, remind you, come here. All you have to do is click on this link right here, and it takes you right to our video chat. And then I have set it up so that there's a waiting room, and when I click open up the chat, that's when everybody will be invited in. Okay? All right, so that is it for the 3 projects. I hope there's one here that you thought was interesting to do. And that's all I have. So again, don't start until Monday. You might be looking at this early. Enjoy the rest of your spring break, and I will see you guys on Tuesday.